selling out everywhere we go. You know why? Because boxing's not broke. And we're getting on with it, and we're delivering, because we're not babies.
We'll talk about that $1 billion deal. That deal got restructured, you know, a couple of years in, because it wasn't really working, if I'm honest. You know, like, we came out of the blocks, we needed to make a lot of noise, we needed to sign fighters, but ultimately they were paying a huge amount of money, but we were still building.
Is claiming that Sella and TKO breached contracts he'd signed with them and went behind his back to form a venture, Zuffa, that aims to dominate boxing. The Telegraph understands this morning that Queensberry will seek up to $1 billion compensation for income the company claims it would have made had the contracts been honoured. Frank suing Turki and Alalshikh and Dana White. Turki Alalshikh and Dana White. It seems it's all getting a bit nasty, isn't it? And those who were once friends are very much...
Frank Warren files lawsuit against Turki Alalshikh and Teko for stealing his fighters, while also raising accusations around Zuffa boxing. The claim suggests fighters were allegedly drawn away through competing agreements, triggering a massive $1 billion legal threat from Frank Warren, shaking the promotional war inside modern boxing politics.
I remember years ago when I got shot, I had a fighter who said, swearing loyalty to me. If I'd have been there, I'd have taken the bullet.
Frank Warren believes the sport is built on a huge talent pool, but only a handful of fighters ever reach the championship stage. The controversy involving Turki Alalshikh and organizations like Sela Company and Zuffa Boxing has intensified promotional tensions, with accusations of fighter acquisition battles and behind-the-scenes power struggles shaking modern boxing.
How many boxers are there in the world?
Thousands.
That's what I mean. So, you know, and those boxers, I mean, obviously it's only going to be a small amount when they're going to challenge or fight for.
Ade Oladipo believes that long-term fighter contracts are becoming essential in modern boxing as promoters compete to keep their top talent. The sport has seen similar signing wars before, with companies like Zuffa Boxing entering aggressive recruitment strategies, alongside other promotions trying to secure fighters for blockbuster future events.
For a promoter, you need to tie down your fighters to long contracts because your fighters will be going. So it's who you're looking at. From our perspective as fight fans, it's the same thing. We still see great fights on great cards. From a fighter's perspective, jackpot, more money. From a promoter's perspective, it's time to batten down the hatchets because it's going to get a bit messy. But we've seen companies like Zuffa come in. PVC did it. Eddie did it when he got that big DAZN check and went to America and tried to sign everyone. So everyone's been doing it for about 2 decades, so it's nothing.
Simon Jordan points out that the legal dispute may depend heavily on contract structure and financial damages. The controversy involving Frank Warren and organizations like Sela Company is now centered on whether revenue losses can be legally proven. If Queensberry shows binding agreements were breached, the court battle could become one of boxing's biggest commercial fights.
I resonate with that. And then with regards to shows, you said 40 shows. How many UK and how many US?
So basically the new deal as well with Foxtel is 7 Australian shows a year. So we're looking at 12 in the US, 12 in the UK, plus Australia 7, Mexico 6, plus obviously Monaco. We're going to be going to Turkey as well, Belgium coming up hopefully as well. So I'm hoping to hit 40, but contractually we have to do a minimum.
Darren Barker describes modern boxing as becoming more of a behind-the-scenes drama, where promoter rivalries, broadcaster conflicts, and social media opinions all collide. The sport now feels like a continuous storyline similar to a television series, where YouTubers and fans add fuel to controversies, turning business disputes into public entertainment spectacles.
It's like a drama, boxing. Do you know what I mean? Behind the scenes, with all like the YouTubers and etc. filling in the gaps, all the spats between promoters and broadcasters and this and that. It really does. And then you've got everyone who's got their own voice on social media chipping in. It's like its own, like drama series. Like, it's just like it's like instead.
Liam Goff questions whether Frank Warren is choosing the right conflict to pursue, suggesting that every legal or business fight isn't necessarily worth entering. Warren is known as a self-made and aggressive negotiator in boxing politics, but this dispute could carry serious financial and strategic risks if damages and contractual violations cannot be clearly proven in court.
Frank Warren ain't playing around, but is this a battle that he really should be fighting? Do you ever hear the saying, pick your battles carefully? And you should pick your battles sometimes carefully. Frank Warren is a ferocious character. He really is. He is a man who was...
I'm not in any crosswords with him. He was out of contract by the Sounds, or they didn't match it. He's gone elsewhere after swearing loyalty to him and doing what he's doing. But I think Conor Ben's had a real result. I mean, because me personally looking at him and looking at you know where he's at, he's had a tremendous result. And get the money he's getting, cuz I don't think he's the best fighter in Essex.
We're delivering, because we're not babies.
Are you friends with Turkey at the moment?
I'm not in any crosswords with him. He was out of contract by the sounds of it. They didn't match it. He's gone elsewhere after swearing loyalty to him and doing what he's doing. But I think Conor Ben's had a real result. I mean, because me personally, looking at him and looking at, you know, where he's at, he's had a tremendous result to get the money he's getting, because I don't think he's the best fighter in Essex.
Frank Warren argues that fighter movement is part of modern boxing business, suggesting that Turki Alalshikh and competing promotions operate in a highly competitive market. The focus has shifted toward financial opportunity, as seen with fighters like Conor Ben, whose career decisions are driven by lucrative contracts and strategic freedom, rather than regional loyalty or promotional tradition.
Morning of $1 billion lawsuit, Frank, seller. I mean, do you know anything about this? There's not been very much publicly released about this.
If I did know something about this, I would absolutely not say I knew anything about this. This is one of those ones that go over my pay grade, over my head, and over everything else. So I will, like most people, just wait and see how this plays out. It does sound a bit crazy, but yeah, this is certainly something I'm just a presenter. I know nothing.
Adi Oladipo admits that details surrounding the $1 billion lawsuit are still unclear, with little official information released publicly. The situation involving Frank Warren and Sela Company remains speculative, as industry insiders are also waiting to see how this massive legal dispute will unfold in the coming months.
But at the time, it was too much money for what we could deliver and how big the platform was at the time. Do you understand? So, like, when you do the valuation for a show, you've got massive rights fees and you've got a tiny audience because the brand hadn't really been built yet. And like you said, like everybody that came out and criticised at the time, what is the zone? Dead zone. It's going to fail. It's going to be over in a year. It's an app. It's this. That was kind of, those rumblings were actually through the viewership marketplace, where it was like we had to build the brand and we had to restructure the deal so that it was actually delivering.
Frank Warren suggests that modern fighters are prioritizing financial security and career freedom rather than traditional loyalty in boxing. The career path of Conor Ben is presented as an example of the evolving fighter market, where free agent movement and contract flexibility have become major negotiating tools inside the sport.
He said a little while ago about his loyalty and money not being the be and end of it all. That's how it's wound up being at the end of the day. You know,
The controversy surrounding Turki Alalshikh and Sela Company revolves around allegations of trust breakdown and contractual betrayal claims. Some industry voices believe the dispute reflects the aggressive business expansion of modern boxing ventures, where partnerships can quickly turn competitive as promotional power shifts across global markets.
Warren and Turkey, something had happened, and now it is coming to pass. Now the chickens have come home to roost, and Queensberry is trying to get money that they're saying had they not been backdoored. And I'm just using slang and paraphrasing because we already went through the actual article. They're saying they got backdoored. Sela had access to their contracts and personal data, thinking the partnership was cool, only to, in the end, be betrayed. This is what they're alleging, to be betrayed. And all of a sudden, TKO gets announced, and they're like...
The emergence of Zuffa Boxing and potential broadcasting partnerships with platforms like traditional media networks is creating uncertainty about long-term distribution stability. Analysts suggest that while outlets such as Sky Sports have supported boxing historically, digital streaming and social media broadcasts are increasingly reshaping how fight cards reach global audiences.
And the rumour mill is that Dana White, Zuffa Boxing, for the UK broadcaster could potentially be Sky Sports, because as it stands now, And we love it, don't get me wrong, we love it, but we know it's not sustainable, it's not always going to be the case. Right now, if you're outside North America, they're showing their Zuffa boxing shows on YouTube. It's brilliant, we love it, it really is. But obviously that's not sustainable.
Eddie Hearn expresses willingness to work under powerful stakeholders in the sport, highlighting the pragmatic business mindset inside modern boxing promotion. His statement reflects how financial backing often outweighs traditional hierarchy, as promoters adapt to new industry leadership while chasing large commercial opportunities across international fight markets.
Bell goes. They both walk forward. They're not fighters who fight on the back foot. They're not counter punchers. They both walk forward, let the bombs go. And I think that's why it's going to be such a tremendous event.
Can we start with Fabio? I mean, his team have all got a little bit more grey hair because in recent times he's produced two brilliant come-from-behind victories against Justice Hooney when I think everyone nearly drowned in Ipswich. It was so wet, wasn't it? And Joseph Parker more.
Adi Oladipo highlights how fighter earnings are rising as multiple promotions compete to deliver big events. The growing influence of Zuffa boxing and potential UK broadcasting ambitions with Sky Sports means fighters are becoming highly valuable assets, forcing promoters to secure talent through long-term contracts in an increasingly competitive boxing business.
Simple as that.
Look, Frank, I have to put this to you. There's rumours circulating, as they do on social media, that Tyson could be interested in that Zuffa deal. Has anyone ever approached Tyson or yourself about that?
No.
What do you mean?
You say the Zuffa deal. I don't know what deal is. What deal?
Well, that's what people are just speculating on social media.
The ongoing dispute involving Frank Warren and entities connected to Turki Alalshikh, Sela Company, and Tico Group Holdings is being viewed as a potential turning point in modern boxing politics and commercial control. The core of the controversy revolves around allegations of fighter recruitment conflicts, contractual disagreements, and the growing influence of major investment-backed promotional projects inside the sport. Many analysts believe that boxing is moving toward a new financial ecosystem where global investors are playing a much larger role than traditional promoters, creating a marketplace where fighters are treated as high-value commercial assets rather than being strictly tied to regional promotional loyalty. The emergence of ventures such as Zuffa boxing has intensified concerns among established promoters who fear losing control over top-level talent to better-funded competitors offering massive contracts and international exposure. Supporters of these new investments argue that the development is beneficial for fighters because it creates higher earnings opportunities, bigger global platforms, and more frequent high-profile events. However, critics believe that aggressive signing strategies could destabilize long-standing promotional relationships and create legal conflicts similar to the one currently associated with Frank Warren's reported $1 billion claim. The outcome of this legal situation could influence future contract negotiations, broadcasting partnerships, and fighter mobility rules across international boxing markets. If Queensberry Promotions successfully proves financial damage, it may strengthen promoter protections in the industry, but if the case fails, it could accelerate the shift toward investor-driven fight promotion models. The entire boxing community is now watching this case closely because it may redefine how power, money, and fighter careers are controlled in the modern era of combat sports. So the big question remains, is boxing entering a revolutionary business era, or are traditional promoters fighting a losing battle against global financial expansion?